Wondering how to become a millionaire at age 28? Well, there is someone who did just that, and he is sharing the 10 money rules he used to do that. I am Tiffany Thomas with WealthyTiffany.com, and I became a millionaire and achieved financial freedom. If you are looking to do one or both of those things, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, and we're going to dive right in. Like I had mentioned in one of my previous videos, I wanted to share some experiences of different people that have become millionaires and the steps that they took to get there, so that we can learn from them and become millionaires ourselves, or even just accomplish our own financial goals. So today I wanted to highlight Financial Samurai, and he has an excellent blog. I have read a lot of posts on there. And his actual name is Sam Dogan, and I'm not sure if I am pronouncing his last name right. Hopefully I am. But let's go over his 10 different money rules for him being able to become a millionaire by age 28. And if you haven't checked out his blog yet, I definitely would. I will leave a link below in the description. Back in 2019, about 3% of Americans were millionaires, and I'm sure that number has continued to grow over time, but that is a very small percentage. So it is really a significant achievement when someone does become a millionaire, even though a lot of people say becoming a millionaire isn't what it used to be. It's still something that we can work toward and feel really good about accomplishing that. The first money rule that he talks about is staying focused in school. And honestly, I have not heard this one a ton. So I thought it was interesting that this was his #1 money rule. He says slacking in school won't get you anywhere. Your binge watching habits will only hurt your GPA. So if you are able to stay focused in school, keep that GPA up, then when you are applying for jobs and they do ask for your GPA, you can say that you have a good GPA and you are more likely to get the job offer. Financial Samurai graduated with a 3.78 GPA, which he said helped him land a job at Goldman Sachs, which wasn't easy. He spent 6 months aggressively applying for jobs and went through 55 interviews before getting an offer. So he really stuck with it. And for me personally, I did really well in high school. I had 3.96 or something like that, close to a 4.0. And when I went to college, when I was doing my undergrad, I didn't have quite as high of a GPA. And honestly, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was a 3 point something. And I do remember putting my GPA on my resume thinking, I wish that was a little bit higher. But it still wasn't a terrible GPA. The second money rule that Financial Samurai talks about is saving until it hurts. And I like the way that he says that. Sometimes we kind of just think, oh yeah, I'm saving my money, I'm doing okay. But where he is telling us that we need to save until it hurts, that really kind of puts it in perspective, and we can really think, all right, are we just saving some money, or are we saving until it hurts? Until we can actually feel that we are saving that money and thinking, oh, okay, this does hurt a little bit. And he does mention that he was a pretty poor college student, so when he landed his first real job, it was really nice to have that consistent income. But he continued living like a student for years, even after his first full-time job. It took a lot of willpower and discipline to save as much money as he did, but he still did it. And I love that concept of being able to really save your money even when you have a really good income and it is something that is new to you, especially right after you've graduated from college and you've kind of probably just had part-time jobs or internships. I know that's what I was doing during college. So landing that first job and having all of that money, it might be tempting to spend that money on a new car or move somewhere more expensive. But if you can do what he says and really save until it hurts and continue to live like a poor college student, you will be able to accumulate so much more wealth. And he recommends saving at least 20% of your after-tax income every year, no matter what. If you're not in pain from saving the amount of money you have saved each month, you're not saving enough. And for me, I was a huge saver. That was pretty easy for me to save my money. And later on, I started to invest that money. So it was nice that I was already saving money. That was already one of my habits. But when I started investing that money, that is really when I started to see my money grow. And we will talk about that in one of his other money habits. The third money rule that Financial Samurai talks about is working hard and knowing your place. He says working hard takes absolutely no skill. Anyone can do that. And he gives the example of him going into work at 5:30 a.m. and then leaving after 7:30 p.m. He said that he learned a lot, got a lot more done, and gained the respect of his peers. And because his boss recognized his good work ethics, he was able to save his job during the 2000.com bubble burst, which is a really good thing because a lot of people were laid off then. And I'll be honest, I was not one of these people when I was working my 9-to-5 job. I pretty much worked my set hours unless there was a specific project we were working on that we needed to do overtime for. But I was not the one that was showing up at 5:30 a.m. and leaving at 7:30 p.m. every day. So that is a pretty admirable skill that he has. And that's not to say that you shouldn't do that, because I didn't do that. That really does have some good benefits, as he mentions. But for me, I didn't really want to spend that much time at work, and maybe that was to my detriment. And this money rule does come into play in one of his other money rules, so you can see why he brings it up. Financial Samurai's money rule number 4 is consider both aggressive and conservative strategies. He says investing in an index fund that follows the S&P 500 is fine, but if you want to get rich fast, then he recommends making more high-risk bets. You can land bigger wins for a small portion of your portfolio. But he also says don't go crazy and blow all of your money, but be willing to experiment and be a little more aggressive with some of your portfolio. And especially while you are young, because you have very little to lose. You have a lot more time to still make money. And then he shares his specific example. When he was 22, he had about $4,000, and he still invested 80% of his money in one stock and got a 5,000% return. Part of it was luck, but he also did research and he took a big risk, and it did pay off. So while you can keep your investing pretty safe, there is room to be a little bit more aggressive, especially when you are younger. And I do agree with this. I invest in a total stock market fund, but I also choose some individual stocks to invest in as well. And I wish I would have done more of this when I was younger. Money rule number 5, and I really love this money rule, is to make property your best friend. He says, inflation is a beast. Make it a goal to own a primary residence as soon as you know where you want to live for the next 5 to 10 years. If you put 20% down on a house and it goes up 3% each year, that's a 15% return on your cash, which is pretty good. He ended up purchasing a condo in San Francisco for $580,500. And then his mortgage has since been paid off. The property now generates a steady stream of income for him. And I agree with investing in real estate. If you have any interest at all investing in real estate, I would say do it. That is the number one thing that helped me become a millionaire and become financially free as soon as I did. I purchased my first place, and then I got 2 roommates, so 3 of us were living there. My roommates were helping to pay my mortgage, and then later on I purchased a rental property, which was actually a condo. And then I purchased a 3rd property, moved into that one, left my old roommates at my old place and replaced myself there. And then at my new place, I got roommates in there. And then I did purchase another property where I was renting that out. And recently I did make some changes with my real estate investments, and I do have a video about that, so I will leave a link above and below. You can check that out later on. But honestly, it was so nice to have all of these properties because they were appreciating in value over time, and I was collecting rental income every single month. So it really helped to increase my net worth and increase my cash flow. Comment below and tell me if you are investing in real estate or if you are going to invest in real estate. Money rule number 6 is to live poorer than you actually are. He says the richer you become, the more frugal and low-key you should be. Too many young people waste money on things they don't need simply to show off to their friends or social media. And I'm sure you have definitely seen that. And this money rule reminds me of the book The Millionaire Next Door. And if you haven't read that, it is a really good read. I will leave a link below in the description. You can check that out. But essentially, the more your income increases, you don't need to be spending more as well. Financial Samurai says that once he became a millionaire, he purchased a 6-year-old car and drove it for the next 10 years. After that, he leased a Honda Fit and drove it for 3 years. And he still wears the same casual athletic clothes that he wore in his 20s. So when you are not spending to show off your money and you are saving and investing more money, then the sooner you can become a millionaire or become financially free. Really think about that when you get a raise at work or when you switch jobs or even when you are starting out in your career. If you can really focus focus and not spend all of that money on things that aren't going to make you more money, then you'll be able to build your wealth so much faster. And that is definitely true for me. I wish I would have spent less on clothes for sure, and other things, because if I would have invested more money when I was younger, I would have hit that millionaire mark way before 40. Money rule number 7 is to start a side hustle. He says you can make money by working full-time or by starting a business. Better yet, you can do both. Over time, your side hustle might turn into a big business, just like his side hustle did with Financial Samurai. He had no idea the site would grow so big and so fast. And just by starting that side hustle in the beginning, that eventually gave him the confidence to negotiate a severance in 2012 and leave his full-time job for good. That is pretty impressive when you think about that. When you just start something really small and be consistent with it and continue to grow it over time, it can really change your life drastically. It could be the catalyst that helps you be able to leave your full-time job if that's what you wanted to do. And you can also choose something that is really fun and that you feel passionate about. And that is why I started my side hustle, so that I could help people be better with their money and become financially free. Building a strong support network is money rule number 8 that Financial Samurai talks about. To get ahead, you've got to build as many allies as possible. Like he mentioned before, you want to do that hard work, but that is not all that you need to focus on. You have to talk to people, show an interest in them, and get them to like you. And if you are doing that, you can advance your career much quicker. And he said in here specifically that he made it a point to take out a coworker to coffee every week, which I think is really effective, not only in building up these allies, but also in just building relationships. I remember one time specifically that one of my friends, he was trying to switch careers or just find a better job, and he took me out to lunch and he just asked me different questions about my career, about different choices that I had made. And it was just really fun to have that conversation with him, because a lot of times I'll hang out with my friends, but we aren't really talking about things that are more serious or about our goals or accomplishments. So I really liked going to lunch with my friend and just talking about these things and having that deeper connection. So while yes, by doing that, it may help you in your career, but you can also just have stronger relationships with people. And this definitely helped him with his career, because he says that he got promoted to vice president at age 27, which is very impressive. Money rule number 9 is to invest in your education. Your brain is your greatest asset. A strong education is the most valuable thing you have, so keep expanding your knowledge, even after college. And I think that's a really good point. It doesn't just have to be in a formal setting, in a high school or at a university. There are so many things on the internet, so many different online courses that you can take, or even in-person classes, or just the community ed classes that are offered. Or there are a lot of books that you can read. There's so many different ways that we can educate ourselves, that we really need to be taking advantage of those different ways. For me, I love reading personal development books or self-improvement books. I was just talking about this with my brother-in-law the other day, and he was saying that he loves to read, but he loves to read more mystery or fiction books, which is totally great. And then he had said, "Oh, you probably don't read a lot of those." And I said, "You're right, I read more self-improvement books." It's true, it's just what I like to read. It's just an easy way to continue to educate myself. And the last money rule Financial Samurai talks about, rule number 10, is to track your progress. He says the amount of money you save is more important than the amount you earn. And that is for sure. I am sure that you have seen a lot of people who are high income earners, but yet they spend all of that money so fast and they don't even know where all of their money went. And there are a lot of articles published about people winning the lottery and then going bankrupt shortly thereafter. So you can earn and earn and earn, but if you aren't saving and investing that money, then you are eventually going to lose all of that money. And he's right, tracking that progress over time will make a big difference. You can actually see what you are spending your money on and make adjustments along the way. And he mentions that he uses Personal Capital, which is what I use as well. It is a free financial tool where you can hook all of your financial accounts to it so that you can see your full financial picture in one place. And they have an awesome retirement section. If you're interested in something like that, I'll leave my referral link below in the description. But however you do it, make sure you are tracking your progress. Tell me in the comments below what your favorite money rule is. Mine personally is to invest as much as possible as soon as possible. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information, and hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And if you want to see even more content from me, check out the videos on the side of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.